Did the shows give us unexpected joy? Drew and I went to see Unexpected Joy at the York, which is a generational musical where a memorial is taking place for Joy's ex-partner Jump, who is the father of Rachel, who's now gone away from bohemian to religious right, and her daughter Tamara has gone back to the grandmother, and there's powerful emotions run through the piece with songs which provide rich entertainment, and then there's Lou, who puts a wrinkle into things. It will stir you heart and soul. Unexpected Joy is what you will find at the York Theatre, and we'll have interviews with everybody afterwards and more on Facebook of what we are talking about and why we love it so much.
Phoenix Theatre Ensemble at the Wild Project presents Robert Patrick's play Judas, directed by Craig Smith, which is the Jesus story, but from the point of view of essentially Pontius Pilate, a very rationalist Roman training his protege Judas, who's also a really good guy, but torn between the rationalism of Pilate and the sort of charismatic religion, spirituality represented by Jesus. It's a very different and very exciting and beautiful language. The Craig Smith especially doing these wonderful monologues written by Patrick really make it a play worth seeing, so I'm giving it a happy. And since it's Phoenix Rep, another important feature is you get to see Elise Stone playing a very annoying Mary, who's like a Jewish nationalist that Jesus has to keep sort of saying like, "Mother, quiet." So it really is a quite good play.
I just saw one of the plays from the Genesis Project, a part of the Inheritance Project as well. I saw the Abraham plays. They're also doing Rebecca, Jacob, Leah, Rachel, and Sarah. But in this one, Abe is going through his late father's storage business to find a deed for land that will give him much needed cash. Searching for clues to find it, the audience helps him out by reading from different artifacts. Will he find the deed, or will he find out something better about his estranged dad and frantic life? And John Dalen played Abe, and it was really good, and it was fun because I got to read one of the things about one of the characters, and it was just real. It's not like, you know, a Bible story at all. It takes a contemporary situation and makes it very rich, and you know, like Heather is Hagar. It's very clever, and it was very enjoyable. And if you go May 19th, which is Tikkun Olah, which is Shavuos, the night of Shavuos, you can see all 5 plays at once from like 10 in the morning to 3 in the morning, because of course we're studying all night at 14th Street Y. So this is a lot of fun. I can't wait to see the other 4.
Summer and Smoke by Tennessee Williams is being produced by Classic Stage Company and Transport Group, and is directed by Jack Cumming III, who's the artistic director of the Transport Group as well. This play is about a repressed woman named Alma, who's the daughter of a minister, and she is in love with her childhood neighbor friend, who turns out to be a Don Juan kind of a character.
And also his father is the town doctor.
And he's also a doctor.
Right. So,
yeah,
well, his father wants him to follow in his footsteps and be a doctor, but he really doesn't want to.
He is more of a playboy kind of a thing. But there's a complexity in it, because he is very enamored by Alma. He actually tells her, "Alma, you know, I like you a lot." You know,
and my favorite line is basically, because Alma means soul. So it's like, she's scared of his body because he's temporal. Is that the word, temporal? And he's scared of her because of her soul, which is spiritual. So you have temporal versus spiritual in these 2 characters.
Yeah, but you see, you also feel that, you know, why he doesn't really acknowledge her love and everything, because he's kind of afraid of her imagination, her intelligence, her language, her hysteria even, you know, because... And the thing, the play is very directed, very minimalistic, which I kind of like, but then they mime. And sometimes the mime goes very wrong, because sometimes this lead character, you know, the Don Juan type, you know, person, he picks up a drink, drinks it, and then doesn't put it back.
Right. It's like the suggestion, like, okay, I'm doing this now, and then they forget about it. It's the same with the telephone. You never know when they're on the telephone, and like, you're wearing gloves, but they're not wearing gloves. You got a hat with the plume. We don't... It was actually, that part of it was really, truly annoying, but when you have Marin Ireland and Nathan Darrow acting up a storm, and with the Tennessee Williams poetry, it's almost like, okay, this is annoying, I don't like it, I don't care, I'm just going to concentrate on the words and the acting, and that actually is enough.
You know, Tennessee Williams his poetry always takes over everything. All the weaknesses are covered by that. But having said that, I felt Mary in Ireland she was so brilliant, I feel she was compensating for everyone else. And at times I felt like she went over the top. I mean, I felt, because Nathan Darrow for me was not the fire he should have been representing. As sexuality and all that.
Oh, I totally disagree there.
Yeah, I mean, you look very handsome and beautiful suit and everything.
You're an old married woman. I'm not.
No, it's not that.
As an old single person without a soul, I'm very desirable.
What I'm saying is that I wanted to see more of that passion from him. More of that, you know.
But
like,
it's hard because...
Yeah, it's hard because she was very overpowering.
No, because he is more dissolute than passionate. He is not actually a passionate person. No, he's too busy being drink and indolent and southern. And basically, women come after him. He does not have to be passionate. Think of it. I mean, Rosa Gonzalez comes after him. The young girl comes after him. Alma's coming after him. All he has to do is sit back.
No, they all come after him, but he never rejects them.
So there's no reason to be exactly. So there's no reason to be passionate.
Yeah,
really.
well, the thing he's easy catch kind of.
He really is.
He's easy catch. But you know, in some smaller roles, I like the lady Rosa Gonzalez, played by Eleanor Hurst. And also Barbara Walsh was very good.
The only way to appease her is give her ice cream. Anyone who loves ice cream is my kind of gal.
She was totally crazy at times. I had no idea what she was doing. She's sitting on the floor looking at the chair. I don't know what she was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Was shocked because her father, Elma's father, the preacher, is played by T. Ryder Smith, and I did not recognize him because you don't get the program until the end. So it's like, that was T. Oh, whoa, what the heck?
He was very good. They were scary kind of.
I'm like,
he was like,
boy.
Yeah, I didn't want to be his daughter. But I loved the play, you know. I mean, I just loved it. And she's amazing.
I have to get a happy face minus. Yeah. I mean, the mime and all that nonsense and, you know, just having a picture of the fountain and the walking around a blank.
I hated that chart. I have always hated that anatomy chart in this play. I have always hated that. But I think I'm just still giving a happy face because the poetry for me and Tennessee Williams character, just like you
Love
cannot find.
Ireland.
Even if they're false, you want to dismiss them. So happy face from me.
Red Bull is doing David Ives' The Metromaniacs, which involves poets, non-poets, would-be poets, poet lovers, all told in rhyme. These characters have so many different names, you would think this was a Russian novel and not a French farce. Frankelou has written a play satirizing his aloof daughter Lucille in order to chase away her ennui and have men chasing after her. From what I can gather, I'm going to try to say this all in one sentence. It's not going to make sense anyway, so who cares? Demi writes bad poetry under his name and acceptable poetry as Cosmos and has composed a play as Bouillabaisse and is hiding from his uncle who wants him to give up writing and be a lawyer. Frankelou is writing poems as a female poetess who Demi has fallen in love with sight unseen just from her poetry alone in the main poetry rag. Durant is in love with Lucille but can't be himself as his father and Frankelou hate each other. Lucille is besotted with sheep poems and will only love poets who write about livestock. So Durant borrows a poem from Demi to Lucille as he can't write. Lucille's maid Lisette will be playing her mistress in the play, so that adds to confusion when running around Lucille's getup. Demi's servant Mondor takes a fancy to Lisette, but will pursue anyone fancy enough to ply him with champagne and caviar. My head is spinning trying to explain the plot to you. It has rhyme, but no reason. Just know this. While the play confounds, puns and witticisms abound. Thanks to Muriel Horton, everyone is beautifully begowned. James Noon's Selvin set astounds. David Ives' humorous writing is renowned. The actors are hilarious as they take on names and personas various. Michael Kahn's direction is first rate, keeping everything straight. Let's cut to the chase. I am giving this a happy face.
And I'm representing Jan Ewing, who saw The People versus Antigone as part of Seeing Eye Place's Whistleblower series, which also includes My Name is Rachel Corrie and I Am My Own Wife. This is a modernization, an adaptation by Brandon Walker from the Sophocles play. And really, Antigone defies Creon because she wants to bury her brother, who she's not allowed to do, and because of that, she's condemned to death. And it's the idea of, the right of religious observance versus the state. It's a classic tragedy. Ewing feels that the adapter has done a fine job dealing with the complications involved. The characters are vivid and articulate. The dialogue is modern and to the point. As an actress, Sabrina Schlegel Mejia playing Antigone is remarkable. Her portrayal is intense and focused. And he really liked this. He gave it a happy face. There's a lot more on Facebook.
Billy Crudup is back as David Cale's Harry Clarke. This time he's at the Minetta Lane, and he is a slippery chap. He grew up as Philip Rugelstein from South Bend, Indiana, but decides at 8 that he'd rather be Harry Clarke from England. And he heads to New York with his new persona. And he somehow insinuates himself into Mark Schmidt's life along with Mark's family. And this leads to life-altering consequences for all of them. Everybody's looking for a change here. I'm telling you, David Cale has written quite the yarn, and Billy Crudup strings us along with Lee Silverman directing him as if he is a cast of many. He is very distinctive in all the personalities that we meet, the wife, the mother, the sister, Mark Schmidt, all of them. And only Billy Crudup could pull off this loathsome character with such charm that by the end of the play, I didn't want it to end. I wanted to see what this fascinating character would do next. So I am giving this a happy face, and there's more. Wait, that's wrong fake. I thought so. And there's much more on Facebook, but definitely catch this before it leaves May 13th.
Bob Creso reviews Replay, written and performed by Nicola Wren, directed by George Chilcott, presented by Dugout Theater. A rather ordinary-looking woman with no set can tell an hour-long story that is so moving and poignant that it stirs up feelings about loss and grief, anger and forgiveness, hers as well as ours. It's about an ambitious London police officer who, when she isn't working, is studying for an exam that will lead to a promotion. Suddenly, she gets a cassette tape from her mother that is a recording of her brother Jamie from many years back. Strings of memories from her earlier years are filled with humor as well as pain around the premature death of that beloved brother. Nicola Wren both wrote and performed this small gem, which Bob Creso gave a major happy face to.
There's a Christopher Marlowe festival going on right now. This is closed, but Bean and I saw the Shakespeare conspiracy, which basically said Marlowe faked his own death and that he actually wrote the Shakespeare plays, and it was very funny. And coming up next is Marlowe's Fate, and that's going on right now.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm so sorry this play is closed. I loved it. It's wonderfully directed by Jeremy Carafan, and very
anyway,
nicely.
the review's on Facebook,
and also there will be a review coming up on artsinternational.blogspot.com.
But we're giving a happy face for the Marlowe
happy
Festival.
Face from me
and go
also.
see Marlowe's Fate.
Very happy face.
This is another Jan Ewing review, this time Wales at the Pit, which is an audience immersive event at a bar situation. The audience is tattooed and sworn in as crew members of the Pit, standing in for the Pequod, the 19th century whaling ship made famous by Herman Melville as Moby Dick, until the death of Captain Ahab. The only 6 actors in the company, but their energy and constant, sometimes frantic interaction with the audience makes it seem as if there were many more. The music is also both original and beautifully chosen, and there are drinking games involved. So this is something that Ewing liked a lot and gave it a happy face. More on Facebook.
There's this new new thing called Necromancer of the Public Domain from Anne Holiday and Greg Cotis, and it's a lot of fun. They take books that are now in the public domain. So I saw Queen Maria Romania, and they act it out, and they do like songs and anything that's inspired from it. So coming up next is The Spinner Family, 1903. It's May 16th, 8 o'clock at the Tank. I think it has something to do with spiders. But anyway, it's a lot of fun, and so go.
The new Broadway by the Year is coming up on May 21st, 8 o'clock at the Town Hall. And this time it features 1956, including My Fair Lady, Lil Abner, Bells Are Ringing, and 1975, The Wiz, Chorus Line, and Chicago. So it should be really great. Don't miss that one, and let me give it a happy face in advance.
And further musically interesting is Stephen McCaslin's second series doing Unsung Strouse, the greatest Charles Strouse songs you've never heard, with Beth Level, Will Rowland, and much more. That's going to be May 13th at 7 o'clock at Feinstein 7 Below. And check the Facebook page for more information. Don't miss it.
And coming up at BAM, starting May 6th, is Long Day's Journey into Night, starring Jeremy Irons and Leslie Manville. That should be really cool. So look for our review on Facebook and go to BAM.
Catch Unexpected Joy at the York, and at the press conference I talked to Bill Russell, Janet Hood, Celeste Rose, Luba Mason, Courtney Balan, Alyson K. Daniel, Beth Falcone, and Amy Anders Corcoran. With
Bill Russell,
Janet Hood,
and you are the creators of Unexpected Joy.
yes we are.
So you did music, you did lyrics?
Book and lyrics, yes.
So how did you come up with this idea?
Well, several things led to the idea. The main thing was that I wanted to write another show with Janet. This is our 5th musical. We've been writing together for a long time. And I knew someone from high school, actually, who had been married to a wonderful guy for 35 years and left him for another woman. So that sort of inspired this idea. And also I was really interested in families of musicians who had different styles, like John and Bonnie Raitt. They're both brilliant musicians, but with very different styles, and I thought it would be fun to play with that in a musical.
Oh, so that was fun for you because you get to write the music, so you're not tied to just one sort of genre. You can go crazy.
right. I have eclectic influences, and so it was fun to write in blues and some ballads and some rock and some gospel. So many different styles.
Start with
Jim Kierstead.
And how are you involved with Unexpected Joy?
I'm actually the commercial producer of the show in partnership with the York. I've been on the board here about 15 years, and I've known Bill Russell for 20 years from the original Sideshow. So about 6 years ago, we started working on this show together, developing it, and we've had just the greatest time working on it. Important story, especially now. It's about women. It's about 3 generations of women. It's about people with different political and social values, and really, at the end of the day, it's about how do people overcome that and get along and live as a family, even with those different points of view. And I think that's what happens for the women in this show. It's like nobody really ends up agreeing. It's not a happy ending where it's tied up in a bow, but they realize, okay, you know what, we can agree to disagree because we're a family, and really that's the most important thing.
And it's got love. I'm sing at them in this case.
It's true. Well, that's what these women all have in common, their music. So they decide to focus on what they've got in common rather than what brings them apart.
Oh, here we are with
Celeste Rose.
And you play in Unexpected Joy.
Tamara.
And Tamara is?
She is the granddaughter of Joy, and she has come to visit her grandma with her mother and sing in this concert, hopefully. She's not sure if she'll be able to, for her grandfather's memorial.
Why isn't she sure she'll be able to sing?
Well, her mother is an evangelical Christian, and her grandmother is more of like a hippie free spirit folk singer. So her mom doesn't feel comfortable letting her sing in this concert that maybe, isn't presenting the values that she has tried to raise her with. But throughout the show, you find out that Tamara kind of wants to be more like her grandmother. She's trying to find out who she is, and she feels more connected to that rebellious side. Your family isn't always going to be exactly like you, but there's always going going to be love there, and you just have to find a way to agree to disagree and, you know, move on and, you know, find what you do agree on.
Luba Mason.
And you are an unexpected joy. And what is your part that you play in this wonderful adventure?
I'm playing Joy, and she is a grandmother and a mother.
You don't look like a great
Point in the show that I'm not gay, I'm not lesbian, I'm very fluid, and I fall in love with the person. And, you know, usually they're musicians because I love music so much, so,
So is it upsetting to you that your daughter just, you know, got so far away from you and what your values are?
Yes, very much so. Very much so, because we brought her up very, very bohemian, and unfortunately she's very, very angry about it now as an adult, and it's kept us apart for many, many years. And we're having actually a memorial concert for her father and my partner, and so she does come with the granddaughter, and I'm trying to mend fences here for the week. And that's what happens, actually, because I guess she just really felt unsafe as a child because we led this very bohemian, free lifestyle, and she ended up hooking up with someone who she felt very secure and safe, which was this very conservative religious man, and a structured life. So it makes sense. Different, and it brings up a lot of, you know, it deals with current issues, which is terrific, and it's about people making choices and just how we, you know, trying to figure out how we can all get along with our differences. And I just keep pointing out, it's a show about women. I mean, so it's a cast of women, a female director, a female musical director, the songwriter is female, you know, it's a great female collaboration.
So here we are with,
Hi, Courtney Balan.
and you play in Unexpected Joy.
Rachel.
And who is Rachel?
Rachel is the daughter of Joy.
I've heard about you.
She is one of the second of the three generations that are represented, and she is the outcast, if you ask me. She's the one who doesn't really fit in with the rest of them. She's a bit more conservative. She's an evangelical Christian, and she was raised in a house full of hippies and drug use and free love, and she rebelled and became an evangelical. Their truth. So we're just trying to play her truth. She has her beliefs, which you might not agree with, but she's a decent human being. So, you know, she has a strong belief, and she's one of those Christians who actually lives what she preaches and is really, really honest about what she thinks is right.
We are with,
Alyson K. Daniel.
and you play the love interest.
I do. The character's name is Lou. It's a big part of the story is us getting married because obviously, yes, it's a big deal and it's great that we can do it, but obviously a lot of people still are not okay with it, and it's something that we tackle in the story.
I guess meeting you is the unexpected joy because, you know, her partner died, her husband's dead, and then all of a sudden, there you are. And you give her a new lease on life.
Yes, it is literally that. Very good. You did a very good job of dissecting that. That's literally what it is, yeah. I hope that people will find some joy in it. It is a story about joy, but I also hope that it opens up the opportunity for questions about people in your life or relationships that you're in or maybe out of, and just compromises that you're willing to make or not make, and maybe, you know, if there's some doors in your life that are closed, maybe that you might revisit them, and really take stock of who's in your life and why, and, you know, why they should be there.
All right, here we are with
Beth Falcone, musical director for Unexpected Joy. Everybody has their input, like the drummer might have something really neat to put in there, and the bass player has something, and the guitar says, oh, what about this? And it's sort of finding parts. So in a way, it's all been co-arranged with a lot of disparate elements. Guys are just smoking. They're fantastic musicians. We're really lucky to have them. I really love the message of it. We all have these families that we wonder, how in the world do you have that point of view? And how are you in my family, you know? Where
yeah.
And it addresses that in a fun way and in a musical way. I think people are going to walk away having very interesting discussions and hopefully feeling more loving toward one another, you know, more respectful when we disagree. I think that's missing a little bit in our country right now. If we disagree, we take that as license to be disrespectful to one another. And
Here we are with
Amy Andrews Corcoran.
And you are the director of this delicious show.
I am the director of this delicious show. You are so... Well, listen, anytime anyone will produce a new musical, it's a win for me. So bravo to the York and Jim Morgan for producing a new musical, especially one that is for women and has a relationship that you don't get to see on stage very often. There are not that many musicals that can boast a lesbian couple on stage. Certainly not that many that boast a female cast that's actually a book musical and not a review, right? We can think of some review type shows. So I don't know. I mean, it's so important to tell stories that haven't been told. And that's what I love about theater. And that's what I love the most about new musicals. When it's a story that you haven't heard, that everybody can identify with a character. And I believe if we do our job, everyone's going to be able to identify with every character at some moment. Not every moment, but there's a moment, I think, of every single character that you think, yep. And that's what I hope that it is accomplished, that we look at any group of people and say, look, we don't agree on everything, but we have this in common, we have that in common. I think that we all could use more of that right now.
Full interviews will be on our Facebook page or YouTube. Go to Eva Heineman. And Lucky Chick is also a Paradise Factory. It's about a groupie from The Grateful Dead. I saw it at the Fringe. It's really good. Daybreak. I'm seeing that May 8th, so the review will be on the Facebook page. And Bina also saw Rachel Corey from the Seeing Eye Place and said it was very good. And I'm sure I Am My Own Wife will be really good too. And Richard Skipper celebrates at Laurie Beachman on May 20th. Ran out of time, so most of the important information will end up on the Facebook page. Matthew Broderick is in The Seafarer at the Irish Rep, and I'm going on May 9th, and that closes May 24th. Cool events going on at 92nd Street Y and at Here. And Theodore Skipateris is at La Mama with her Lorca puppet show. Florence and the Machines is going to be at the BAM. And Maple and Vine by Jordan Harrison is going to be at the Flea. And Alan Ayckbourn is going to be at 59 East 59th Street. Gentleman Caller is between Ing and Tennessee Williams. The Jewish King Lear is going on at Metropolitan Playhouse. Happy Birthday, Wanda June is by Kurt Vonnegut. These reviews we talked about, but they closed. Parody Production is recommending all these plays. And Penny Arcade is going to be at Performance Space, New York, and you don't want to miss that. Next show is May 26th. Don't forget to pick up your Performing Arts Insider, the cultural heartbeat of New York City. And go to a Facebook page where you'll find everything.